Here we have Yoni Assia. He's the CEO of eToro Social Trading Network. Hi Yoni, how's it going?
Very good, very good. Thank you for having me on the show.
Are you enjoying Web Summit?
Yes, I love it.
So, your speech was called "Is crypto here to stay?" Right?
Yeah.
So, is crypto here to stay? Can you
Definitely.
elaborate on that?
I think we're at eToro. We're very big enthusiasts of crypto. We've been involved in the crypto space since 2010, and I believe we're just at the very early stages of cryptocurrency, and it's definitely here to stay and probably to also significantly grow.
So what's the next step, do you think, in regulation-wise and crypto-wise?
I think now it's actually good, we're sort of at the quiet before the storm phase. A lot of companies are building products. A lot of companies sort of try to build products very, very fast now. We're starting to see more and more products launched. We just announced our blockchain wallet, which is a multi-sig, multi-blockchain wallet. And we're seeing a lot of other companies also gradually improving, whether it's blockchains improving their scalability, blockchains improving their decentralization, smart contracts application coming out. So I think now is sort of a time where a lot of things are being built, and we're going to see sort of the next bull run where the entire ecosystem is more mature.
Okay, so do you agree with Tim Draper predicting 250K by 2022? Are you that optimistic?
I think that's a bit maybe too optimistic for me. I always like to be a bit more cautious, but I think there's a very good sense in saying it's going to hit 50K by 2022. 250, I think, is higher, but definitely, I think we're waiting all for sort of a tipping point, for an inflection point where people feel they have to sort of run towards crypto.
So what eToro is working on right now? What's your next development steps?
So we have very big projects we're working on right now. We announced this week the launch of our wallet. We announced our social impact project called the Good Dollar, which is about creating a new cryptocurrencies to help basically the poor and reduce inequality globally. But this is more of a research really into economics and cryptocurrencies. We are launching our product in the US later this year, which is very exciting. And we're now also developing eToro X, our exchange, which we'll be presenting later this month.
Okay, can you tell us more about that social impact project?
Sure. So the Good Dollar is basically an experiment or a series of experiments around how to create universal basic income. So how do you create a cryptocurrency that actually can give people money throughout the world, sort of distribute cryptocurrency? If you think about Bitcoin, it's still very, very concentrated. If you think about traditional capital markets, they're very, very concentrated at the rich, both centralized but also concentrated at the rich. So the 42 richest people in the world own more money than the 3.7 billion poorest people in the world. How can you use blockchain technology in order to create a fairer system which distributes the funds more efficiently and therefore enables more people to participate in the economy, to contribute in the economy, and to make money in the economy?
So are you aimed at any particular country?
No, we're looking at this really as an internet product of launching eventually smart contracts which are completely decentralized the same way Bitcoin is, but have basically a better mining process or a fairer mining process. Instead of going to miners who build chips, the logic is people identify themselves, so it's not anonymous or as anonymous as Bitcoin. People identify themselves, other people vote to say that people are who they say they are, and then money constantly is being distributed at a 10% inflation rate a year to the poorest in the ecosystem.
Oh, okay. That's very interesting. Good luck with that project.
Thank you very much.
And I think you're the best person to ask, as long as you're connected to so many traders, which challenges blockchain industry and crypto industry in particular is facing right now? What are the main challenges that we have to overcome?
Sure, so I think the ICO space, the biggest challenge by far is regulation. I think it's both regulation on a government level, so nobody knows now whether something is a utility or a security, so people stopped doing ICOs in the US, and that dried the market a bit. And second is also regulation more on a moral compass level. A lot of ICOs raised money, but didn't deliver, or took the money to another project. That would not happen if in a VC world. When you invest, you have corporate governance, you have founders agreements, and I think those two have to mature. You have to know when you're investing in an ICO, what you're investing in, what's the commitment you're getting in order for that market to sort of come back. On the other hand, I think gradually fiat rails are becoming better, but still a lot of the banks are blocking crypto in a lot of different countries. I think regulation definitely could help build better rails from fiat to crypto and from crypto to fiat.
About the regulation, do you think that crypto community needs to educate governments about blockchain more? How do we do that?
I think, first of all, the benefits of blockchain are enormous for any regulator. It's instead of having an opaque financial services industry where you don't know exactly which financial institution has what to which clients, on the blockchain everything is transparent. So the opportunities with blockchain is actually to create much better regulated firms than they are today. If you think about our wallet, for example, that we're launching, we currently have an in-principle license from Gibraltar, from the regulator in Gibraltar. Then basically, the biggest issue with regulation is if you open a financial institution and then a customer comes to you and deposits $1 million in your financial institution, the regulator has to make sure that you actually have those $1 million and you haven't gone and ran into the Bahamas with those $1 million. Where if you think about it in our wallet, when a customer deposits money into our wallet, it goes directly onto the blockchain, into an address where he can actually see his funds even outside our platform, where the regulator can see the funds outside our platform, right? So the regulator can actually see that all our liabilities to our customers are exactly what our customers see as our liability to customers, therefore significantly reducing the regulatory burden of understanding where the money is. And I think it's very hard for people to understand the benefits before we see more platforms and more regulators understand and educate themselves with the help of companies about these benefits.
So why are they so afraid of crypto, the banks, the regulators?
I think there's a couple of things. One is anti-money laundering is an issue. It's very hard to control sort of the second or third stage of where the money was. And I think banks don't want to be in a position where they suddenly hold money, that money you can actually find the origin coming from a bad place, right? So if you're a bank and you got cash, and that cash came from a bad place, there's really no way to show it. But if you got bitcoins or got money that arrived from bitcoins, you can actually see the entire trail and maybe it came from a bad place. And I think that trail and the fact that there are no KYC for everyone still makes banks fear a lot the anti-money laundering part. I think the second part is on the more the central bank level, and potentially rightfully so. I think some central banks fear that this has the potential to destabilize the system. So if all the people in a certain country withdraw their funds from the bank to buy Bitcoin, that's a big issue. And I think they don't necessarily know how to handle this, so in some cases they just decide to try and shut it down.
Which again brings us to the issue of education, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So Yoni, can you tell me the story that Vitalik actually was writing the white paper for the colored coins, as I remember? Tell me how that happened, how you managed to get him there, and what happened later on.
So this was really the early stage of crypto. I was an enthusiast on Bitcoin Talk, which was like the forums, and I wrote about this concept called colored coins, which was how do we tokenize different types of assets like euro dollars and pounds and gold on top of the Bitcoin network. And that I actually got an email from a Vitalik Buterin telling me that he has some time and he's very happy to try and help us build this concept of colored coins. This was, I think, when he was 19. And I actually sent him some Bitcoins to start working with us on the white paper of colored coins. And he wrote the majority of the colored coins white paper together with me. And after writing the paper, he actually told us and me that it's too difficult to tokenize assets on top of the Bitcoin network. He worked a bit in the eToro offices, actually, working on the white paper. He also met a lot of different sort of the ecosystem in Israel back then. It's described also in the white paper, so he actually refers to colored coins. But then he decided that the Bitcoin blockchain isn't good enough and that he needs to build a new blockchain. And I actually told him it's too difficult to build a new blockchain, unfortunately, and the rest is history.
Okay, amazing. And actually, what happened with the Colored Coins protocol?
So we eventually it got forked to well, everybody sees what forks are now with Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Cash 2. So it got forked to 4 different projects. Each developer took it their own way. We took the colored coins together with the company that we spun off called Kolu, which still today maintains the colored coins protocol and develops local community currencies. So we continued to maintain it, but eventually moved it to a sister company called Kolu.
Did you heard what Vitalik just said about launching the Ethereum 02 and saying this is the old one? What do you think about that?
I think it's amazing. I think they realized they need to run faster. They realized that their biggest problem in running faster is supporting the past. And they said, if we want to run faster, we can start from scratch and build something faster and better. I think it's not going to be trivial, that fork. But I definitely think Ethereum community is close enough to make it happen.
Amazing. Thanks a lot for the information and your knowledge.
Thank you, Pavel.